Good evening, and thanks for tuning in to Double Trouble on CTV Sports. Sadly, guys, that's the last time I'm going to say that.
No.
If you don't know, all three of us are seniors. We graduate in December, so this is our last one. I'm Grace Reeder.
I'm Rachel Vigil.
And I'm Tyler Patterson. Before we get started on all of the sappy things that come with the last show, we're going to start off with what we do best, talking CSU sports.
Oh, yeah. The CSU women's volleyball team wrapped up their season and said goodbye to their seniors with a win over UC Davis and a Mountain West trophy ceremony. While it's very unlikely the 5 seniors graduating from CSU's program will play at Moby again, their season isn't quite over. The Rams will head to California to take on Michigan for the NCAA tournament on December 1st. The winner of the Michigan versus CSU game will then take on the winner of the Stanford versus CSU Bakersfield match. Stanford is going into the tournament as the 3rd-ranked seed. Michigan and CSU did play already during the regular season, where CSU handed Michigan a sweep. If all goes well, the likely matchup will be CSU versus Stanford in that 2nd-round match, which will certainly be a difficult test for the Rams. Tyler, you did all kinds of volleyball reporting this semester. What do they need to do going into this NCAA tournament to be successful?
Well, the Rams are going to have to focus on their hitting, serving, and blocking. And they already played Michigan. They swept them 3-0. That was like 2 months ago, though. So Michigan's a totally different team. They came out of the Big Ten Conference, and they play teams like Illinois, Michigan State, and Purdue, which are all in the NCAA tournament. So it's going to be tough first round for the Rams, but I think they're going to be able to get it done.
Well, that's the difference between kind of the Mountain West and other conferences. While CSU dominates the Mountain West, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready to go into the NCAA tournament. Like we've seen in years past, that happens not only with the volleyball team, but with our other teams as well. CSU plays Mountain West teams all year and then goes into a tournament like this and isn't prepared. They haven't seen the style of other teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to forget that the Mountain West isn't the top division, and that's hard because we are all here and we want to cheer for them and have them do well, but we're not the top, even if we are ranked for CSU volleyball. But also, I think like the match against UC Davis we were expecting it to be a complete sweep, but maybe it's a good thing it wasn't, because then they're able to keep their head on straight and remember that they aren't the best team out there.
Well, I think that's also a testament to the play between the Mountain West and teams outside of the Mountain West. CSU has been handing Mountain West teams easy sweeps. They go play UC Davis. I was expecting an easy sweep. Their record's not outstanding, but they came in, they didn't realize the style of play. This isn't a team that they've been playing for seasons and seasons and seasons, and then all of a sudden this moves into 4 sets. Like you said earlier, this wasn't a bad game. It was just not what we expected. Yeah,
and I don't think that going into 4 sets and not sweeping was necessarily a terrible thing, because the Rams were off for like a week because of Thanksgiving break. So coming back, you thought they'd be rusty, but no, they came out hot in the first 2 sets and absolutely dominated. And then the 3rd set, it was back and forth. There was 18 lead changes and 9 ties. So it was really back and forth, and I think it almost gave them a tournament feel that they're going to really, it's going to help them out.
Well, that's how spoiled we are. We're like, they didn't sweep. CSU didn't sweep. The volleyball
I know,
team
they have the best record in the country. They're 21-0 when they sweep.
Yep,
so.
Yep, absolutely.
Not bad.
While you might have been on fall break, the men's basketball team couldn't catch one. The Rams were at a tournament in Jamaica where they lost all 3 of their tournament games. But unfortunately, when they returned back to Fort Collins, they handed Northwestern State a loss 72-60. Guys, the Rams have a very difficult games coming up, and so what are they going to need to do to get a couple wins coming up?
I think they're going to need leadership. We were kind of talking about this earlier, where there's no specific person like there was Gian Clavel and Mogbo. Those were the 2 leaders last year, and we haven't really found that person for this team yet. Shea Bob's done great. Nico Carbaccio's done great. Prentice Nixon is kind of filling in his role now, but I do think we have to find a complete leader.
I think it's been kind of a struggle with mesh too. Larry Eustachius talked about how young this team is. They're really young. With that Jamaica tournament, like we said, they've come off of travel. So that's really hard to have a young team who doesn't know what traveling is like, to travel to Jamaica and then to take on teams. They weren't just regular teams. These are teams that are either going to be in the NCAA tournament or that will at least be at the top of the NIT tournament. So these weren't teams where you can come in unrested off a plane and just play willy-nilly and win. This was definitely going to be a tough challenge for the Rams, but their season is not easy. Their next couple of games, they have some really tough teams that they need to go against, so they're going to need to find, like you said, that leadership. They're going to need to stop fouling. They're going to need to play defense.
Yes, defense will be huge. But we did talk a little bit about the traveling. I mean, that's 12 hours. And, like, with 1 or 2 hour breaks in between, I couldn't imagine. And I'm not very tall, and I still don't like to be crammed in there. So I can't even imagine for those basketball players being 6'4", 6'5", 6'11". Like, that'd be so hard. But
yeah, they got a tough schedule coming up too. They play at home against CU, and then they go on the road against Arkansas and Oregon. So a couple of Power 5 conferences coming up, and it's going to be tough sledding for the Rams.
Yeah, Oregon, but they take on Missouri State tomorrow night, so hopefully they're able to do a little bit better tomorrow night on the road. But the women's basketball team also had a tough schedule coming up, but left Moby on a high note this past weekend. The Rams took on North Carolina Central Saturday and handed them an easy 85-48 win. Gracie Kalavalu won a spot on the starting squad for that game after her incredible performance against Oklahoma last Tuesday. Although head coach Ryan Williams noted that this team is going to have a significant number of line changes due to the youngness of the team. Guys, this women's basketball team does have a lot of changes going on, but what are you expecting for them for this season?
I think it's definitely going to be another case of not only leadership, but this team hasn't played together very much. So they had a couple games where they had just had absolutely no break. They were just going, and so they didn't have time to have a real practice. They didn't have time to kind of figure out what was going on. Ryan Williams in his post presser said, we pretty much showed them what to do on the board, and then they went out and they either had to do it or not. And I think they did a pretty good job of making sure that they were making those plays happen. But I think it's another case with the CSU women's team where they have a lot of inexperience, and they also have a lot of newness to their team. They haven't figured out how to play together, and I think that really shows by the fact that we haven't really figured out who the sixth woman is, and we haven't figured out who the starting 5 are.
You know, going back to the Oklahoma game, they played so well that first half. I was impressed. I was shocked because Oklahoma is a very good team. But then I think the youngness came out when they were like, oh, we're keeping up with them, and then it just didn't end the way we wanted to.
Yeah, well, Gracie Kalavalu had a really good game against Oklahoma. She played outstanding. I think that fire off the bench is kind of what they're looking for this season. Those starting 5, it may be like, oh, yeah, I get to start, but who's coming off the bench has been really important for them. Gracie has shown that. Then when she started this week, we saw that from the additional 6 women who came off the bench. So I think it's definitely going to be a matter of finding depth on the bench alongside finding who those 5 starters are and making them work together.
I could not agree more. And all right, it wouldn't be a sports show in Colorado if we didn't talk about the Broncos versus Raiders game yesterday. Probably one of the crazier Bronco games I've seen in a while with the Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree. What were your guys' thoughts on it?
I thought it was crazy. I mean, personally, I thought that whole bout was over between Talib and Crabtree, but I was wrong because Crabtree wore the gold chain and apparently had it taped.
He had it taped to him, and Talib still got it off.
You gotta try. That was not unintentional. Although, let me just point out, Crabtree did not go in there not asking for it. He went in there looking for a fight. If you're gonna punch someone at the beginning of the game, Aqib Talib is gonna have a target on you. Every single player on the Broncos team, he had a target on his back. You can't go in there and punch Chris Harris Jr. and expect to not get your chain ripped off. No offense.
And do we know Aqib Talib? He's a straight thug.
Yep.
Love him, but he's a thug. So it was. I mean, he had it coming for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's lucky it wasn't an eyeball poke.
One of the
favorite. They have any suspensions coming for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if the NFL does not suspend them for 1, if not 2 games each, I'll be shocked. Because if this was their first go around, I'd be like, okay, maybe no suspensions, maybe just a nice fine. That clearly didn't work the first time. This is round 2, and there's a lot going on between them. Not only that, but rumor has it that they live really close together. They have to actively avoid each other. Don't they both live in Houston? I'm pretty sure they have to actively avoid each other in their personal lives as well.
Just funny.
So this was, if they aren't handed a suspension, I seriously will be shocked.
And if the league doesn't come out with like a no jewelry, no chain rule, then I'm really going to be surprised.
But can you tell grown men, be like, you cannot wear that? Can you tell them that?
I mean, they told me at soccer practice, hey, take your belly button ring out. I think if they can do that, they can tell a grown man you're not allowed to wear your gold chain because Aqib Talib's going to rip it off of you.
I don't know. I'm going to be really sad if Talib isn't here with the Broncos next year, and then this is no longer a thing.
Well, this was kind of a toilet season for him alongside the Broncos. I think you can't act like Aqib Talib. Crabtree has less to lose. Aqib Talib's an outstanding player. Well, I guess, I don't know. Not that the Raiders haven't had a garbage season as well. But with the Broncos...
Hey, they're doing better than the Broncos.
I mean, they beat the Broncos, but it's not like their record's outstanding. It's not like they're looking really good. At least the Broncos are coming off of, a good season, and it's clearly a rebuilding season.
That's true.
The Raiders are in kind of just a meh all the way around.
That's true.
So both of them just have a lot to lose, and I just don't think if you have... In this conference right now, when you have teams that have the records that they do, you have too much to lose to get in a silly fight like this. No one's going to pick up Aqib Talib after him thugging through 3 seasons and having the Broncos stink like this.
And it cost the Broncos the game not having Talib out there on that last play. So
absolutely did. Well, that is all we have for sports stuff, but stay tuned because we have all the sappy stuff up next.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back from the break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Double Trouble on CTV Sports. This is our last show of the semester, and if you don't know, Rachel and I are graduating, so this is our last Double Trouble show ever. A little sad story time for you. When Rachel and I first started at CTV freshman year, which was, what, like 3.5 years ago? Yep. 3.5 years ago, we hated each other a little bit.
We literally walked into the studio, and we both just, like, glared at each other. We did not like each other one bit.
No, we did not. And at that point, I think probably what was happening was that both of us were on the news shows, and so we're competitive ladies, and so
that's why we went into sports.
Yeah, exactly. We naturally did not like each other. No. At one point, we decided it was easier to ad-lib with 2 humans instead of 1, and so Rachel came on to my segment. I don't remember exactly like how we decided we were going to be friends, but I'm pretty sure it went like, oh, this kind of works. Do you want to be friends? Yep. And then that was it.
Then we started walking home from shows together, back to the dorms, and
we started plotting like our futures together. So anyways, we've had a lot of really great times.
We have.
We've had a lot of really embarrassing times, as you are soon to see. But we've been anchoring together since 2014, 2015, our freshman year. So naturally, we put a little package together that's a timeline of some of the best and the worst of Double Trouble. I think it shows how much we've grown. At least our hair's better.
True.
Thanks so much for tuning in to our first Double Trouble show of the semester. I'm Grace Reeder.
And I'm Rachel Vigil.
Last weekend, Rachel Vigil and I got the opportunity to go to the Broncos headquarters for the Rams' second scrimmage of the preseason.
It's the field. It's too windy.
You got a sunburn right here. Nuh-uh. Yeah.
Oh my god. He's so hot. Here's where CSU football screwed.
Let's turn this off. Why is this so hard?
I have no idea.
Once we break through the barrier, we'll be good.
I don't remember what we were going to talk about after.
My hair's in my face. Cut! Alright, ready? Ready for this?
No, I am a farmer's.
Dang it, that was so close!
I'm Grace Reeder. And I'm Rachel Vigil.
Against Nevada. The CSU cross-country team will also be participating this weekend in the St. Paul, Minnesota meet on Saturday.
Well, Rams, what if I told you that the Rocky Mountain Showdown at Sports Authority Field at Mile High was going to be canceled? CSU is planning on canceling the game starting in 2020. I talked to students from both CSU and CU about what they thought about this.
It's really frustrating to me that Nick Stevens has the best receiver in the nation and he cannot get him the ball. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Nick Stevens does not have an arm at all. He might be more comfortable in the pocket than Coleman Key is, but I just think he's a terrible quarterback.
That was beautiful. So here's
really
a picture of the actual Peyton Manning. And there's a picture of Grace's.
This is really good, actually. I'm really proud of this.
30 seconds.
This
and
turned out.
Painting, that's like really hard.
This turned out well. His forehead wasn't big enough, but that's all right. I tried.
I'm now going to head over to the Double Trouble Sports Center right now, and Grace is going to be in there, and we are going to talk about some spring football. And of course, we are huge fans of football here at CTV, and Grace and I
Stop. We are so looking forward to the football season. I love making fun of Kansas City fans almost as much as I love making fun of Raiders fans.
We're Rachel.
Double Trouble to the rescue. Thank you for tuning into Double Trouble tonight. I'm Grace Reeder.
And I'm Rachel Vigil.
You know what's scary, Grace? That they still let us on TV.
Grace, we talked a little bit last week about what our expectations were for that game, but what are your expectations now looking forward to this season?
I'm really excited for conference play. I think the Mountain West has become a really fun conference. I'm excited for the Boise game, I'm excited for the Air Force game, and I'm very excited for the Wyoming game, as you know very well.
She has been talking about the Wyoming game all year. She is very excited, even though we're going there in the middle of November.
It's going to be cold, but Josh Allen.
Ram fans, I'm Rachel Vigil alongside Grace Reeder here at War Memorial Stadium.
Well, we will bring you more. Hopefully the wind dies down a little bit for our next dinosaur hair. Keeps it together.
I know, it's a little rough.
Welcome back from the break. If you're just tuning in, you're probably very confused because Rachel Vigil here is in a dinosaur costume.
We just heard the team walking over during their Ram walk. The band was playing. It sounded like there was a good group of fans outside too.
Yeah, well, when we showed up, there were definitely people already tailgating, so Ram fans are showing up for this one. This is our last show, and I couldn't do it without one more Double Trouble showing. Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show with me this semester and being my partner in crime. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too, and I'm looking forward for the next 3 years.
Oh yeah, we're gonna kill it.
I can't even begin to tell you how fast those 3 years went.
Not only that, but we looked like babies.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? Did you see me?
We looked not our white balance. We learned how to white balance. Too. If we learned nothing else, our first year was just blue. And then we learned how to white balance and
do our hair.
And do our hair.
And
our hair
dress.
looks so much better. I didn't wear white dresses.
High five.
White dresses were really rough. That's okay though.
You know what? That's okay. We've learned a lot. We've grown a lot.
Here we are.
We really, really cannot complain. But yes, we did learn how to white balance, which was awesome. And Grace and I are clearly very important. So we do have to say thank you, though, to the rest of the seniors that made this show run from behind the scenes. And there are 2 special shout-outs that we need to give.
First, to Alec Erickson, who will be graduating with us, my twin. Alec works as the studio crew manager, and he directs our show every night. Thanks, Alice, for making us look good and for all your help.
And then the guy that was just with us, Tyler, attended so many games this season for volleyball, soccer, and recently basketball. Tyler, we can't thank you enough. You have provided us with tons of content for the show, and we really appreciate all your hard work. And aside from the seniors graduating with us, we have quite a few more people we would like to thank for making our sports show so incredible this year. First and foremost, Pete Wack is also our CEO at Rocky Mountain Student Media. Pete has been an incredible mentor, and obviously we wouldn't be able to do our jobs without him.
We wouldn't have jobs without him.
That's true.
We'd also like to thank Emma Iannacone, our executive producer, for reminding us that Boise's actually said Boise and giving us free reign to produce this show all year. Emma, you've been an incredible leader, and we really appreciate all the time you've dedicated to this station.
We also want to thank the studio crew, the humans behind the cameras, and the volunteers that make us look good up here. First of all, to everyone that has run prompter for us, we never stick to our scripts, and we ad-lib between 65% of what we say.
Yep.
And if you have done prompter for us and came back to CTV, thank you.
Those humans, they're really the gold ones.
Yeah.
Doing prompter for us is not fun.
No, not fun at all.
We also have some incredible sports reporters this year that have put in ridiculous amounts of time to cover teams. Alex Clow, Tyler Patterson, Zach Trombetta, Nick Romero, and Tim McCall, my assistant producer, who has pretty much gone to the moon and back for us this semester, to name a few. Thank you all so much for your dedication and your hard work. We also want to thank the members of the FOCO Sports Show who have become great friends with us this year. The collaboration between KCSU, the Collegian, and CTV this semester we will cherish, and we also will cherish the time that we got to spend with those fine gentlemen.
We did. We had so much fun, from car rides up to Wyoming to being here in studio.
We didn't crash on the way home from Wyoming, which was the biggest you-go. Rachel drove home from Wyoming. If you didn't see the stand-up, it was snowy.
It was horrible.
We didn't die, so.
But that's okay. It's all worth it.
It's good.
And last but not least, we want to thank our families for being our biggest fans and supporting us on our crazy career goals to go into sports TV.
Yep.
We do love you guys.
Yep.
And don't go away, because next up we have bloopers, and we know you want to see them.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
All right, the time has finally come for some bloopers. We know you've been waiting for them. Take a look.
Hello, football fans. I am Tim McCall, reporting for CTV News, and I am here outside of the beautiful Mile High Field. Got a little nervous,
Looking to avenge the loss. We rolling?
We are rolling.
137 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had a 41 yard. Oh. He also had a 41 yard.
He told me to fix my tie.
We're here at War Memorial Stadium.
What? Whenever we're ready.
You got the microphone, so you'll lead us in.
What do I say? What's up?
Yeah.
We're here at War Memorial Stadium. I'm Nick Baker here with Brian Buck. I mean, that's what you want to hear.
All right, ready?
One other guy.
Are you starting or yeah, I'll start. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, is it afternoon? What time is it?
It is like 3 o'clock.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Grace Reeder alongside Rachel V. Hill here. Where are we? We're Memorial Stadium. Killing it.
My man can. Is my Nike thing showing?
Just chilling? All right.
It's coming off of that Mountain West title loss last season, just hurt pretty bad. So right now, like, God damn it.
Well, that is all we have for you tonight. I feel like maybe we should procrastinate a little.
Agree. Let's go back to the beginning of the show.
This is like our last show ever.
It is. Grace and I have gone through a lot. It's really crazy.
We're going to procrastinate. You're going to have to look at us for a little while longer because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to keep talking because I don't want to get off my last show ever. Just kidding.
It is very sad.
Just kidding. All right.
But we're on to bigger and better things. Grace has taken a job in Grand Junction for everybody, which is very, very exciting for her, and I'm super duper proud of her.
I'm excited. I'm moving away from sports towards news. Yes. But that's okay.
But there's a little bit of sports involved there.
That's true. Rachel will be on the sideline of everything because she's Rachel V. Hill.
Maybe. Fingers crossed.
You got this.
Maybe one day.
All right. Well, thank you all for your support these past years. Good night, Rams.